So here we go with my Meta Quest 3 review. Please bear in mind that I've only had a few days to test the headset fully at home, so I'll likely do an updated review in the future. Also, full disclosure, Meta sent me out this headset early and for free so I could cover it on the channel. However, as always, Meta have no input in this review and they don't get to see this video before it goes live. So, with that said, let me crack open this little box and show you what's inside. So the Quest 3 comes in two models. The 128GB model that I have here, which retails for $499 US, 479 British pounds, or the 512GB model, which retails at $649 US, 619 British pounds. The box is super compact compared to the Quest 2's box, but it doesn't have any games listed on the back, which I thought was a bit strange. Once inside the box, you get two new Quest 3 touch controllers, the Quest 3 headset itself, and a small accessories box. In this little box comes an 18-watt wall charger and a 1-meter USB-C to USB-C charging cable, along with warranty information and a quick start guide. The Quest 3 setup process is super simple using the Meta Quest mobile app, which you can easily find by scanning the QR code on the lid of the box. The headset doesn't come fully charged, so I would recommend charging it for a little while before initiating the setup. Just note that you'll need to be at least 13 years old to have a Meta account of your own, or you can have a parent-managed account for children between the ages of 10 and 12 years of age. When turning the headset on for the first time, you'll be guided through the setup process step by step inside the headset. I was impressed to see that they cleverly used a QR code in the mobile app, which can be scanned by the headset itself to quickly get you connected to your home Wi-Fi. Once set up, all the previously purchased apps tied to your Meta account will be available to install on the new Quest 3 headset. Now, one of the key new features of the Quest 3 is its full color pass-through mode. It's the first thing you see when you power the headset on. You can switch between this pass-through mode and the virtual home environment by just pressing a button on the dashboard or by simply double tapping on the side of the headset, which provides this really cool transition effect when switching between the two modes. It gets a bit grainy when used in dark rooms like in my studio, but it's a huge improvement over the black and white pass-through mode of the Quest 2. In comparison, I feel like it runs at a higher refresh rate than the Quest Pro, and it looks much sharper and has better depth than the Pico 4. You still get some shimmering and warping effects going on, but it's clear enough to read a message on your phone, grab a quick drink, tweak a setting on your PC, or play with the dog when she starts to get a little bit restless. Using the new pass-through, you can now automatically scan your room to help you set up your play space boundary, but in my testing, I found it's not quite good enough yet, and honestly, I prefer to just trace it out myself manually. Jumping into First Encounters, which comes pre-installed on every Quest 3 headset, it's a short experience to give you a taste of mixed reality. And I have to say, it is impressive the first time you tear down your physical walls to see a vast virtual world behind them, and your room gets invaded by these little critters. It's the perfect app to demo mixed reality to your friends and family. While I'm still not 100% sold on mixed reality yet, in my time testing the Quest 3, I did have some really cool experiences, and here are some of the highlights. Smashing a zombie through a window with a virtual baseball bat in the cabin, grabbing the crown and securing a win in this frantic little robot game called BAM, chilling with some puzzles using hand tracking in Cubism, raiding dungeons in Demio, and then playing the new RoboCop Steam demo on a huge virtual screen using Virtual Desktop. One thing to note though is that dynamic occlusion in mixed reality doesn't work right now. This means that if you try to put your hand in front of a virtual object, it will still appear as though it's behind it. In the future, this will be greatly improved with updates utilizing the onboard depth sensor, which sits in the center pill shape on the front of the headset. It's clearly very early days for mixed reality, but I'm sure over the next year or so, with the launch of the Apple Vision Pro, we'll see some more interesting MR apps and use cases. One of the key new upgrades to the Quest 3 is the new optical stack with higher resolution LCD displays and pancake lenses. I really cannot emphasize enough how great these lenses are. If you've used a Quest Pro, you'll be familiar with them as they're very similar, but if you're moving from a Quest 2, it's a huge improvement. The lenses are completely clear, unlike the Fresnel lenses found in both the Quest 2 and PSVR 2, where you can clearly see the concentric rings in the lenses. These pancake lenses provide great edge-to-edge clarity, meaning the sweet spot is massive, which in turn means you don't have to adjust the headset much or at all to get everything looking really sharp and clear. This also means the headset accommodates for a large IPD range between 53 and 75mm. I much prefer this IPD system over the Quest 2, and the IPD dial is pretty stiff, so it's unlikely that you're going to accidentally knock it out of place. Another thing that really surprised me about these lenses is that they don't really suffer much from glare or God rays in contrasting scenes. This is the opposite of what I experienced with the pancake lenses in the Big Screen Beyond, and I would go so far as to say these new lenses in the Quest 3 are the best lenses I've experienced in any VR headset so far. Behind these fantastic lenses sits two LCD panels, which provide a resolution of 2064 by 2208 pixels per eye, running at 90Hz or up to 120Hz. This is a 30% increase in resolution over the Quest 2. In terms of black levels and colors, I would say they look exactly the same as the LCD from the Quest 2, but noticeably sharper due to the increase in resolution. With these new lenses and displays, screen door effect is truly a thing of the past, and hopefully this combo becomes the benchmark for all new headsets moving forward in the future. When it comes to field of view, this will differ from person to person depending on what setting you find comfortable with the new facial interface, but in my testing, I found the Quest 3's field of view to be noticeably larger than Quest 2, Quest Pro, and Big Screen Beyond, both vertically and horizontally, but just not quite as big as the Valve Index's horizontal field of view. Moving on to another new key feature of the headset, and that's the performance. The Quest 3 is the first headset on the market to feature a brand new XR2 Gen 2 Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, which is paired with 8GB of RAM. The result of this is that everything feels much smoother and slicker, making the Quest 3 a real joy to use. While all Quest games will benefit slightly from this new processing power, it's the games that are specifically optimized for the new headset that will really shine. Games like Drop Dead Dual Strike, Aspire 2, Golf Plus, Guardians Frontline, and Hubris all have free graphical updates for the Quest 3 releasing around the headset's launch. But the real highlight for me is Red Matter 2. It was always a great looking game, but now it has higher resolution textures and better lighting with dynamic shadows, making it a must-play title if you're picking up a Quest 3 and you really want to see what this new processing power is capable of. More Quest 3 upgraded titles will be coming in the future, like the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners update, which will be dropping later on this year. Moving on from native Quest games to PC VR content, just like the Quest 2 and Quest Pro, you can connect the Quest 3 to a powerful gaming PC to play PC VR content from Steam. Now you can do this in a few different ways. You can use a link cable connected to the headset's USB-C port, or connect wirelessly to your PC via your home network using AirLink or Virtual Desktop. In my testing, all of these methods work just fine, although at the time of this video, the headset's microphone doesn't work when using Link or AirLink. I'm sure this will get fixed in an update very soon. My personal preference is to use Virtual Desktop due to the ease of use and the vast array of options you have to tweak all the setting exactly to your liking. Playing PC VR games like Half-Life Alyx and Microsoft Flight Simulator looked stunning in the Quest 3. I would say it's not quite as good as the higher resolution and OLED panels of the Big Screen Beyond, but that headset is twice the price of the Quest 3 after all. The Quest 3 does have Wi-Fi 6 capability, however I don't have a Wi-Fi 6E router at home to test it out. But I have to say everything worked perfectly on my 5GHz home network, and I was getting around 1200 megabits per second transfer rate in Virtual Desktop, which is more than enough for a smooth wireless PC VR experience. So overall, I would say the Quest 3 is a great choice for PC VR gamers looking for an upgrade. Now on to comfort. Like I said in my hands-on first impressions video, the Quest 3 is 40% slimmer than the Quest 2 due to the new pancake lenses, but it's not lighter. Weighing both the Quest 2 and Quest 3 side by side, you can see the Quest 3 is around 14 grams heavier than the Quest 2, but as that weight is closer to your face, you don't really tend to notice it due to the better weight distribution. Initially, during my hands-on demo in London, I thought the default material head strap was fine, but then again, I was only playing for around 40 minutes. Testing the headset more extensively at home, I found it's just not very comfortable when playing for hours at a time, and it would be the first thing I would recommend to upgrade to increase the overall comfort. It is a shame that the material head strap feels so cheap when the headset itself is quite expensive. Thankfully, there are a few options to upgrade the head strap coming very soon, like the M3 Pro strap from Bobo VR, which I'll cover in more detail in a future accessories video. When it comes to the facial interface though, it's a huge improvement over the facial interface that shipped with the Quest 2, and I found it very comfortable to use throughout all my testing. One thing to note though is that you're not completely sealed in like you are, say, with the PSVR 2, as you still have a small nose gap to peek through at the bottom. VR Cover will be offering some material covers at launch, which just simply slide over the stock facial interface, but personally, I'm not really a big fan of these covers, and I would suggest waiting for the full VR Cover replacement facial interface kits, which will be coming in the future. Something I do really like about the new facial interface design is the ability to adjust the lens distance by using these movable sections on the sides. This allows you to create space in the headset for your glasses if you wear them, which worked perfectly fine for me. But if you're planning on using the headset a lot, I would highly recommend these Zenni prescription lens inserts, which are being sold directly through the Meta website for $50 US, 50 British pounds. They look really smart and simply slot securely onto the lenses, meaning you don't have to worry about scratching your glasses. When it comes to the headset and controller battery life, despite all my testing, the Quest 3 controllers are still sitting around 95%, and I would imagine they'll last just as long as the Quest 2 controllers did on a single AA battery. The headset battery provides around 2.5 hours worth of gaming on a full charge, and to charge the headset from 0 to 100% will take around 2 hours using the supplied 18-watt wall charger. Moving on to the new Quest 3 controllers, they've been improved in both design and tracking, but feel instantly familiar in the hands. The two big improvements are the tracking ring is now gone, so the IR tracking LEDs have been moved to the face of the controller, so you no longer need to worry about banging the tracking rings together. The second improvement is that the battery door cover no longer slides off by just applying pressure. You have to push this little release button on the side, which is a much better design. The controller haptics feel stronger, maybe not quite as powerful as the Quest Pro controllers, but definitely a big improvement over the Quest 2 controllers. I put the controller tracking to the test with a range of difficult movements in VR, like aiming down the sights in Breaches and using bows in Dungeons of Eternity, and I have to say, the tracking never let me down. You really have to hide the controllers behind your back to cause a loss in tracking, but they're quickly reintroduced when you bring them back in front of you. There is an option to pair the Quest Pro controllers with the Quest 3 in the MetaQuest mobile app, but to be honest, the new Quest 3 controllers are great, and the benefit is you don't have to worry about charging them all the time like the Pro controllers. Also, some good news is that the Quest 3 controllers fit a lot of the older Quest 2 controller accessories, like my favorite controller grips from VR Cover. Moving on to audio, the built-in speakers found in the arms of the Quest 3 head strap have definitely been improved over the Quest 2. They're noticeably louder and have much better bass response. Although the most immersive way to experience audio in VR, of course, is with a pair of headphones or earbuds to really isolate the sound. Just like previous Quest headsets, Bluetooth headphones just don't work well, as there's too much Bluetooth latency at around 1 second for them to be usable in any way. Over-ear headphones can be used using the 3.5mm headphone jack, although annoyingly, this has been moved to the right side of the headset on the Quest 3, meaning that you'll have to manage your cable, as most headphones have the cable coming out of the left ear cup. A nice little audio accessory I've been using a lot lately with the Big Screen Beyond are these Soundcore P10 earbuds from Anker. They're specifically designed to be used with the Quest 2, Quest Pro, and the Quest 3. They use this little USB-C dongle for the wireless connection to the earbuds, which provide an instant response time. They're super comfortable and they sound great, and I'll cover these in more detail in a future video. So in conclusion, the Quest 3 is a huge improvement over the Quest 2, and a noticeable improvement over the Quest Pro, to the point where I can't see myself ever wanting to use those headsets ever again. The new processing power of the XR2 Gen 2 chip, the incredible pancake lenses, the new controllers, and the higher resolution display make it a really nice upgrade. While I'm personally still not convinced on the mixed reality feature, I do appreciate that it's still very early days for the medium, and I'll continue to check out MR content as it releases. It's just a shame that at the time of the Quest 3's launch, aside from a handful of short MR experiences and a couple of Quest 3 upgraded titles, there's nothing really new and groundbreaking to play on the new hardware. All the big titles like Bulletstorm, The Seventh Guest, Arizona Sunshine 2, Ghostbusters, Assassin's Creed, and Asgard's Wrath 2 are all coming later on this year, and all of them can be played on the Quest 2, and we don't know yet if they'll be getting Quest 3 specific upgrades. So in summary, I feel like the Quest 3 will no doubt appeal to the hardcore VR enthusiast like me, and probably you if you're watching this video, but I think it's going to take a lot more to convince the casual VR players and the wider gaming community. So that's my Quest 3 review. It's a great headset that I feel sets a new standard for VR, but it has a weak launch lineup of content to really take full advantage of the headset's new and improved performance. If you have any questions about the Quest 3, please feel free to drop your questions in the comments down below, and I'll try my very best to answer as many questions as I can. Also, feel free to let me know what you all think. Did you pre-order a Quest 3? What do you think of the mixed reality feature? And tell me what games you're most excited to play on your Quest 3 when you get your hands on one. I'd love to know in the comments down below. Leave a cheeky little like if you found this video useful, make sure you're subscribed for all my future VR content, and as always, I'll see you all on the next one. Cheers.